Hello, everyone. Before we get started, can you hear us now?
Do we exist? Are my words coming through to you on the internet? Snoppet is maybe confirmation, genuinely uncertain. Cool. We have audio. That is good. Nerdaxic, thank you very much. All right, round two, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours. I'm Canadian Kit. This is Avir. We're here to field your questions today about all things moderation, guideline, mentor program, or of course, Resonite related. Hope everyone's been having a fantastic weekend so far, and I hope you have many good questions for us today. As we always like to say, we're sort of the policy guys. We're part of the business team, the moderation side of things. That's what we know best, but feel free to ask us any old thing about Resonite. We'll be happy to give you the best answer we can. It's just if it's deeply technical in nature, we might occasionally direct you to one of the other office hours that can better answer it. I see a bunch of comments piling in, a bunch of folks saying that we have sound, that's good, a bunch of hellos, that's very good. Claire says, I survived a day and a half max power GPU usage. I think my latest driver downgrade may have worked. That's good to hear. I don't know in what context the tech problem was, but I'm glad to hear it has abated with a little bit of effort. We do have a question I'm going to dive to right out the gates. Well, it's still quiet right now when people are piling in and maybe giving us some questions or typing them up. And that is pulled from the Moderation Office Hours archive question you can find on our Discord. In case folks are unaware, I think I'm going to try and actually have a link for you. Can I drop this in chat? If I'm a mod, am I allowed to drop Discord links in chat? I can. Fantastic. If you're not part of the Resonite Discord, join the Resonite Discord. It's a great place to get tons of information on all things Resonite related. What I provided for you with that link there is also a pinned archive forum we have inside of the Office Hours Questions forum space on the Discord. We're allowed to and encouraged to drop any sort of question you'd like to ask at Office Hours, Moderation Office Hours in particular. If you might, for instance, not be able to get to the office hours because, say, you're in the wrong time zone, you're just busy that Sunday and you're hoping to get an answer before whenever it is you could come back. We're going to be fielding one of the questions that came in through there today because we always try to put an eyeball on it whenever one pops up. So here we have a Mint Shock who has forwarded a question from a Tito Ferro. This is read out in full. So this is for the moderation team, but I couldn't find their questions thread. I went to read this other thread here and found a very interesting problem that genuinely made me feel unsafe, which I find surprising. Their statement provides that reports are one-sided and the targeted player of the report does not have the choice to defend themselves. False reports are already possible in other games. Is there a way to prevent this? Can we do a court hearing method? You know, both parties need to provide evidence to refute opposing statements and support their position. To be honest, a court hearing video on Resonite would be very entertaining. I might make a world on this. I do encourage people to, at the very least, make the court hearing world. That sounds like it would be great fun. Many people could do very amusing things inside of that on Resonite. But when we get to the question itself more broadly, I kind of want to explain some sort of background. We're aware that people sometimes have difficulty engaging with appeals inside of the ticket system, but there's good reasons for that. I can't necessarily remove all of the problems associated with it, but I think I can give you good explanations about why we've come to where we have in terms of balancing that. Part of the moderation team is trying to balance a couple of big values, and one of the big ones that comes up when it comes to appeals and getting the evidence against you whenever you find out you've received account restrictions is that the moderation team doesn't want to de-anonymize people who submit reports. We're obviously concerned that if we provided information on who submitted the original report to the person they reported, that could lead to harassment down the line. So that's one of the things we try and prevent from happening as much as we can. And while we know that makes it a little bit more difficult to get the evidence in your hands, it's certainly something that we're going to keep doing right now in the interest of avoiding further harassment in the future. It's obviously not a perfect scenario when it comes into write an appeal. You might just hear that there's video about you doing X or Y thing on platform, and you don't get to view the video yourself because that would immediately make it apparent who was taking that video. But that is the sort of reasoning behind why we found the compromise where we're at right now. In terms of the conversation in courtroom, well, we don't have a big formal in VR courtroom, which would be very cool, but not hugely practical. The process kind exists. If we get a ticket from someone and there's compelling evidence inside of that ticket and we issue account restrictions, yes, the person on the far side is going to become aware when they receive a warning, a reminder, or account restrictions, which will include a reason for whatever they did. That point, they are encouraged as part of that message to submit an appeal if they think anything is done in error, or if they have evidence to the contrary. And the appeal is done through the exact same ticket system, and we will start a conversation there if they think that that was done in error, or if there's something else that they can provide us. This is sort of that back and forth, both people can provide evidence situation while still trying to maintain that value of not de-anonymizing people who submit tickets so that there are no repercussions for submitting tickets. That's at least the logic we have behind this. If there's any sort of follow-up question, I heavily encourage people to submit those questions. I'd be happy to go through our thought process on the matter. And now I'm going to, we already did pull the person that their question will be covered today, so hopefully they can get an opportunity to put an eyeball on the VOD when it goes up and see that question.
Yeah. We have a question here from Grand UK. I'm currently creating various plugins. Would creating a plugin to add protoflux nodes to perform official moderation actions be frowned upon? They would be using the methods that Fruit's engine exposes, if that makes any difference. So I'm just going to express caution towards this. You are talking about interacting like protoflux with nodes, with things that are very powerful in nature, like with self-moderation and, moderation of sessions and whatnot. One, make sure that it's working properly, I guess, but if it is essentially interacting with the same, like, session moderation tools, then it should be fine. It should be the operative term here. This is something that's unprecedented, has not happened yet, and thus we don't have any experimental data to go by and see whether or not it's causing issues. So just be aware you're on the frontier here with that.
Yes. I think the most salient thing to keep in mind for this one is essentially, if it goes wrong, that's a bit on you. If you accidentally crash someone using something that's not a native implementation, we'll be coming to have a conversation with you. If you're trying to use it in good faith, this probably begins with warnings or reminders, but that is obviously something we treat very seriously. So, test extensively would certainly be my first caution. My general recommendation for moderation is, we've got the systems in platform for a reason. Feel free to make use of those. They're growing quite robust these days between blocking and kicking and banning session moderation tools and individual moderation tools. That said, it looks like we don't have any big questions stacking up. We just have a Fruits in here going blah, and someone asking if that's a Fruits. I suspect it is a Fruits. I strongly suspect so. Can't 100% be certain, but I believe so.
I have one thing to add to what Grand was talking about, actually. So, because you mentioned protoflux nodes, that also means to me that you're talking about possibly using an in-world prop to moderate your session. I'm just going to say this: if you pull a gun on someone, like whether it's a band gun or whatever, that, could elicit a very negative and sometimes like panic-inducing response in some people. So I'm going to recommend fully that if you're doing this, do not put it in a prop that is designed to look like a weapon. Just don't do that. It's not a good idea. Just making sure that's not what you're planning on doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Modify Arc asks if we could turn down the background music just a bit.
I was worried it was a little bit loud. I even turned it down a little bit earlier. There we go. How's that?
I'm going to loop back. Oh yes, do tell us if we can be heard, please. But I'm going to loop back one more time for the Discord question, because I realized I forgot one bit of it, where they made mention of the fact that false reports are already possible in other games, and is there a way to prevent this here? Moderation, I just want to touch note on this before we go forward. Moderation is aware of the possibility of false reports as they come in. We certainly had that as an issue previously, and I just want to make it clear that we're very, very, we treat that as a problem very seriously. If it becomes apparent that someone has submitted a false report, let alone fabricated evidence for that, our response to it tends to be quite severe as far as moderation responses go. I can't make a guarantee that there will never be a false report that gets past us, but I can tell you every time we become aware of it, we take very definitive action to at least remove bad actors from our community in that regard. Of course, we are pretty careful about the evidence that comes in, and we've caught things previously, even quite complex stuff, but yeah, there's always the possibility of someone slipping by. It's just going to be our response to that I think is ideal. It said we had a bunch of other comments here. Haste asks, why would Fruits go bois? What am I supposed to do with that information? I'm not certain if that's a question we can answer. Well, I guess the back half, generally speaking, what you're supposed to do with that information is, I think, say bois back.
Maybe.
It's been the norm, I've found. I don't know if it's required, but it's certainly occurred a number of times.
We have a very good question here from Ponti's Pizza. How do you moderate the quality of recently baked pizzas? Greetings, Resonite, Dog, and Skeleton. Hello.
Welcome.
And how do we moderate it? I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to have at least, let's say, I don't know, 6 to 8 slices of that pizza. There's around 6 to 8 slices in a pizza, right?
That is often the case, unless it's a gigantic one. Yeah, no, I think 6 to 8 is pretty solid. I'm going to say heat and time are the primary moderating effects on pizza quality, but also ingredients are pretty big.
True.
Pretty big.
You know what? I'm going to recommend people try this because, like, you know, you can usually find, like, pepperoni slices at the deli. If you're into making your own home-baked pizzas, give Genoa salami slices a try. That's pretty good, especially
tasty.
Oh, yeah. It's so good, especially on, like, a white sauce pizza. Not healthy for you, but it's very tasty.
You made your peace with that fact when you decided you were getting a pizza. Just go full hog at that point.
Right, exactly.
We have a Grand UK follow-up from the previous comment about putting things in some sort of prop. Grand UK says, although it wouldn't be in a gun, also have no intention of making these Protoflux nodes, but wanted to raise a potential question about plugins that make custom nodes. Also, it wouldn't crash someone. It would use the built-in functions that the Sessions tab and the dash would connect to, so it shouldn't have a problem as long as permissions are involved. I agree. Cool. A lot of people will come to us with cool ideas for moderation things. We always give the caveat of, if you crash them, that's on you. Because, of course, every time you're building a system, there's the potential for a bug, there's the potential for something to go wrong. Certainly if you're at the plugin level, that might cause something you don't intend to occur. I like to emphasize that, yeah, our mod and plugin policy can be very succinctly summarized as, please don't be evil. If you are crashing people, even unintentionally, maybe not evil, but it's a problem. We're going to have a conversation with you, probably a warning or a reminder to lead out the gates again if you have good intentions, but it's certainly going to be the beginning of a conversation if something goes wrong. We're not just going to ignore that report when someone tells us, hey, I was crashed by this person, and when we look into it, it was because something broke with a plugin. We will talk.
Yeah. Bathwick says I can go up to 12 slices if there's not a lot of guests, or if there's a lot of guests and not a lot of pizzas. Listen, so that sounds like you're getting dangerously small in your slices of pizza. All right,
unless it's a gigantic novelty style pizza, then that could be fantastic.
True. Yeah.
Possibly. Grand UK says, so if I crash myself in the creation of this plugin, I can make a moderation ticket against myself for that crash. If you submit a moderation ticket to me for you crashing you, I will take action.
Yeah.
I'm 100% certain of the evidence in that instance. So it would be, irresponsible for me to just ignore that ticket.
Exactly. You'll at least get a warning saying, stop crashing yourself. I don't know why the Resonite bot is now bullying you, but it is now bullying you.
It says you will be banned for self-reporting. I mean, I will not say with certainty banned, but shenanigans might occur. Ill-defined shenanigans. I see we also have an Aegis Wolf here. Welcome, Aegis. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, too. Hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. This is not constrained to the Aegises of the world, but it's extended to them, too. I know that the weather has finally broken out of being 30-plus degrees here. I went for a bike ride and didn't come back as a puddle. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. We've entered into the good season.
Has the Resonite bot ever logged into a regular session? I feel like it has to have, right? Frooks might know the answer to that one. I know he's in the chat still, or at least I think he is.
I have not gone around as the Resonite bot. Has Frugs gone around as the Resonite bot?
Oh, that'd be fun, honestly.
Is it a bot? Is its avatar a bot? I needed to actually have a robot avatar as its favorite, or yeah, I'm going to feel a little bit betrayed. Frugs says yes. Frugs, tell me. Give me this information. I guess the default avatar is pretty bottish. It's a floating robot orb with hands, but it's still, like, it's an orb. One would not call that anything other than a bot, I suppose. It just says a sighting occurred on launch of Resonite itself, joining a session. Oh my god. Brook says, no, it's a giant Resonite logo that goes, be not afraid. That's much more horrifying. Not technically a bot, but I think so good that I will excuse its lack of botliness. Frix, I have a quick question. Do we have a resonance today? Should I be directing good people to join a resonance in approximately 71 minutes? 70 and a half? Is that something that's occurring? I should have got the memo for this beforehand, but, you know, it's a quiet office hours, as we occasionally occur. Frix says yes /, which makes me wonder if that was a question mark. I'm concerned. Probably, though. We probably have a resonance. Modify Art asks, what would happen if the Resonite bot banned itself? Resonite deletes. All of it. It just shuts down. It sort of folds in on itself. Pops out of existence.
I'm trying to find this thing that someone sent me.
Glitchfur says...
It can be the next avatar.
Oh, the next avatar for Resonite? Wonderful.
Yeah, for the Resonite bot, yeah.
Glitchfur says, Fruits is here while simultaneously silksonging in the background. That is wonderful. I am not going to admit to the number of hours I have played Silksong so far, but I imagine that it'll be a common occurrence. Something horrifying is about to arrive, so good luck, everyone.
The new John Resonite bot avatar, guys.
This is just how we should feel the moderation office hours going forward. This is how we represent the company. Oh god.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I hate the eyes or the feet or the mouth more, all of it more. But some
also, like, what was that, a tuxedo top and, like, I don't know, plaid pajama bottoms?
God. Well, John Resonite's here for the rest of the office hours, a third. Very good to hear.
Pepler says everything looks wrong.
All right, we have questions. For starters, it looks like we do have a resonance today, so look forward to that, folks. Frix will be on to answer all sorts of questions about Resonite and its future in 70 minutes, give or take. But we have a question from Grand UK, kind of a legal question, but the Protoflux bindings generator may currently generate bindings for official Flux nodes. Would the inclusion of this potential YDMS code in a plugin code repository result in any legal troubles with YDMS? When it comes to big code-based legal questions on stream, I'm going to be a coward. I'm sorry, this is just the usual stance we take when it comes to legal questions. If you are concerned about the legality, I strongly encourage you to submit the inquiry to the business email address where a bunch of people can sit down and not try and make guesses about the law off the top of their head on Twitch. It's just, I know I ask you to ask every Resonite question you can, but sometimes it's just go to a better source than a couple of guys hanging out in avatars chatting about moderation stuff on Twitch. And that's going to just be one of them. I won't touch legal concerns around the code without the business team being able to put eyeballs on it. Trooks is braver than me, apparently, but that is the general stance we're going to take in regards to the moderation office hours.
And look, we got an answer from Frooks.
Berg says, in case anyone's just listening along, generated bindings should be in .gitignore. You never want to contribute those as a good practice in the first place, and generation should be part of the build process. I understand some of those words. The GitHub process, despite the shared name, is sometimes a little opaque to me. But Fruit seems to have a firmer grasp of it in this regard.
I don't understand why we're ignoring Git, but I don't know. It all seems kind of rude to me. Also, protoflux bindings. So, like, I don't know. Are we talking like keybinds? Are we talking about like the things that you use to keep your snowboard like clipped to your feet? Like, I don't understand.
Probably. I think so. Brooks clarifies it's not a legal answer, it's a technical answer that preempts the legal answer. Excellent. That's where we can come in with certainty. That's good. Oh, wonderful. All right, I think we missed a couple of comments. Chase says, had me at plaid jammies. What are you talking about? These are just... There's something. I'm putting them back down. John Resonite's just doing his best. Tom Fox says, I regret having eyes today. Well, you know, this person has eyes. Ask them for spares. Maybe your eyes can look like these eyes. Brooke says, I defeated one character and they said there's a secret in the area and now I'm paranoid whether there's another secret of it the character was referring to, the secret that I had already found. Brooks, you're in an area, you found a secret, you were told there's a secret in that area, and your first intuition is what if there's another secret?
But what if there's another secret?
That is true. That is true. What if there is another secret? The game's filled with them. I've been having plenty of fun with that, and the little free time I have left to myself.
Has the bitrate taken a nosedive for anyone else or just me? Oh, the stream keeps buffering. Uh-oh.
Oh, are we melting?
Losing connection?
You're coming through loud and clear here. Well,
that's weird.
Not speak to Twitch.
Yeah, let me see what the Twitch looks like. Hold on.
Okay, if my voice is coming through to any of you, I will happily say that one of the good fallbacks to this, if it's just buffering for you, is that we do record this. We do post this to the YouTube channel, so if you wanted to see what we were yakking about or following along after the fact, you're always welcome to kick over to YouTube and see what's happening there after it goes up. It looks like some people are seeing some success by changing resolution. Might be a Twitch problem rather than ours then.
And again, my net did go out a couple nights ago.
Do not delete. Alright, can anyone confirm whether they can hear us? No, quite the reverse. A couple folks saying we're still getting buffering every few seconds. I'm not seeing much on the one I have open on the second window. I wonder if this is regional.
It's weird.
Seems to be fine now from some folks, at least. Well, we've got a little bit left to today's stream. Anywho, so we're gonna chug along and see if Twitch heals over time. That's what technology can do, right?
What?
Just heal magically without any intervention on our part?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Something about, I don't know, technological mana and, like, power levels. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. Folks are saying
we gotta realign the crystals.
Might be getting better. Folks have been saying it's stable for the last 2 minutes. We can still see and hear. It's not fully cut. That's good. That's good. That's good. Some sharks have launched cables in the ocean for a solid guess. Not certain, though. Northern Europe here. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe it's just Twitch having a hiccup. Well, pile in the questions anyways. We'll answer them. If the text gets through to us on Twitch, you can definitely catch us on VOD answering that text at some point. Even if during the stream, we get a little bit buffery. A little bit broken up. Hopefully the VOD will still come through. I mean, the VOD's local to you, so the VOD should come through perfectly fine.
Yeah. Grand asks, is that Zelda music, Twilight Princess music in the background?
Kind of.
Kind of, technically. Not really. It's music from Hyrule Cafe 2, Chill Zelda Beats. So yeah, it's from, I believe, Game Chops. I always love their music, and I love that they let people use it on their streams.
Very nifty. Oh,
It could be Twilight
asks,
Princess.
Yes, certainly could be inspired by it after all, right? People making their own little remixes right now. Modify asks, are pacifiers allowed in public sessions? So the only way I could see pacifiers in and of themselves tripping up anything inside of guidelines is if you were A, somehow using it to harass other users, please don't do that, or B, in the context of adult contact guidelines, we don't let people engage in any kind of kink-related activities themselves. Of course, if you're just not engaging in the activity, there's just something that neutrally could be part of it, but it's just present in the world, like if there's a pacifier sitting on the table. That's not something that we're going to have any sort of issue. Just try not to engage itself in the activities that could be sexualized.
Yeah.
That's how we typically cut the adult content on platform. Of course, I'm willing to elaborate on any of that, so if you have follow-up questions, feel free to run them out. I know every time we touch upon adult content, there's usually a good half dozen questions that follow. But we have some lines that we've drawn over the years that try and make it as clear to understand as possible. Luke says, actually, yes, there are systems that will self-heal during service degradation. That is true. Probably not Twitch. Well, maybe Twitch. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Nikki mentions no stream today. That means anyone else, we should have done that PSA before this, anyone else who would like to be rated, I would strongly encourage you to start up a stream sometime between now and half an hour from now, because we will be rating people when our stream shuts down and we have a bit of a break before the Resonance starts. When we're doing those raids, we're typically looking for just a couple of things. Your stream has to be English, because all the people listening to us are listening to us speak and be English. It has to be vaguely PG, family-friendly sort of thing, and of course it has to be in Resonite. If you're doing those things, even if you're just barely beginning to stream, you only have 1 or 2 viewers, that's ideal, because we're going to be looking for people we haven't streamed before, and in that category, whoever has the least, we try and throw eyeballs on.
Yeah. Nuki has a question here. What advice do you have for us if someone we hang out with gets banned? This is probably one of those questions I'm going to come back to a couple times here and there as I can think of some things. But one, just because we ban someone doesn't mean that, let's say the moderation team considers someone a bad person or whatever. And so you shouldn't either. We are simply removing someone from the platform, usually mostly temporarily, because our guidelines weren't being considered. And we do want that time away from the platform, essentially, for that person to be reflective, on their decisions that they've made, and hopefully they come back with a new understanding, that hey, those guidelines are here, they're being enforced to keep our user base safe. And they're not just there to be a nuisance to people. They are there to keep you and the platform safe. But advice that I have, let's say if it's a temporary ban, you want to hang out with that person, definitely there's Discord, there's absolutely other multiplayer games out there to give a go. But that's I guess largely what I've got for right now in my migraine state.
Mm-hmm. I think that covers it pretty solid. But look, he has a follow-up here. What should we do if someone we have copyright, or something rather, we have copyright to is being used without our permission in Resonite? How might staff help us handle that, whether we want it removed or just changed? So we do, as all companies in Europe and more broadly need to facilitate, have a process for DMCA takedown requests. You're welcome to submit a ticket through moderation. There's a number of steps associated with a DMCA takedown request. They're actually reasonably difficult to carry out in full. But you can get information on all of that by submitting a ticket to the moderation ticket system and just asking, hey, I have this copyright stuff. I'm interested in going through this, and we'll try to assist you as best we can, both with actions we can take and information we can tell you through that system.
Yeah. We have a question here from Cycles92. Hello, I've got one question only. What would you guys do to encourage or get a larger player base on your platform? So we've done a few things, and we're going to be doing quite a few more things in the future here. But, you know, one of the biggest things for just about any company is, of course, advertisement. You know, so we'll be reaching out to like various streamers and, you know, like other sources that, you know, might help us get the word out there. That's one big part of it. Another thing that we like to do is, you know, of course, we do these streams. You know, various teams on the Resonite team have their own little office hours streams. Plus, there's like is it a monthly recap stream? I think it's monthly, isn't it?
Monthly, yes.
Yeah. We do have the main monthly recap stream where a significant majority, or at least a significant portion of the development team streams, and you guys can ask them questions there as well. There's various other little like groups that are advertising their own little parties and get-togethers. And in fact, I believe we've recently put in the Essentials a new panel. Let me grab it real quick. Yeah, the Resonite events viewer. You can find it right in the Resonite Essentials. It's the last item available in the panel itself here. Let me click allow. Hold on one second. Error. No host access detected. I may have broke something. I hope I didn't click the wrong button. Ah, there it goes. Okay. So we've got the Resonance coming up today at 5:30 p.m. That's EST. We've got Tabletop Night, Daily Meditation. Yeah, we've got a bunch of things coming up here that you guys might find interesting. But check out that panel. You can find it directly in your inventory under Resonite Essentials.
Indeed. Got a few extra questions rolling in here. Nuki asks, flip side, what should we do if we realize an asset we're using is paid or otherwise under copyright? Generally speaking, my recommendation is don't make use of things you don't have copyright for. That is a recommendation for me. I acknowledge that if you see someone wandering around in like a Stormtrooper avatar, we're probably not going to assume that that person doesn't have a very specialized individual contract with Disney to make use of a Stormtrooper avatar. So there's certain cases where moderation is unlikely to be coming after you, but our broad recommendation will always be make use of the things you have the rights to use. Of course, that's just going to be the expected advice, of course. Now, follow-up to that, I believe, is what should we do if someone falsely enforces a copyright on something we made? Well, that is the appeals process. The moderation ticket system, the same way you would submit a ticket on another person, you can go to submit an appeal. It's just we have a help topic you can select inside of that. I see pointing.
I was going to say, I have like a follow-up to that. If you are actually following the DMCA process, and let's say they've filed a true DMCA takedown request on an item that you are using, and let's say you actually own the rights to that, the proper DMCA takedown process actually gives, let's say, like, how can I put it? Technically speaking, if they file a real DMCA takedown, they also have to give us contact information that we have to forward to you. And so if they do actually take something down and it's like through that proper DMCA takedown process, that is a legal dispute now between you and that person. And so you can countersue essentially. But if how can I put it? If it's just moderation helping you remove an item or something from like other people, that's not the actual DMCA process. But once it actually becomes a real DMCA process, then you've got to get lawyers involved, and it essentially kind of comes out of our hands.
Yeah, we can now, of course, provide you information, point you to a couple of explainers on the DMCA process if you submit a ticket. There are a couple online. One can find them through Google much quicker than the moderation ticket system, but if you would like someone to have a chat with you, we can handle that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, people do make mention here. Nuki says there's also Monday Blues tomorrow, which isn't on the panel due to a bug. It's a good place to meet people. I think that sounds pretty cool. Is it a blues fest? Do you have good blues music, or is everyone just kind of sad because it's the Monday Blues? I assumed the pun, but it might not be.
ModifyArg says, is recording other players without their knowledge, like a replay buffer, allowed? It depends entirely on your, jurisdiction. So certain countries don't allow you to record other people without their express permission. Germany is one of those big countries that I don't even think they like dash cams. So check your local laws. Make sure that your local laws allow you to do that. But we can't give you legal advice, essentially. Is it going to be against the guidelines? Not necessarily, because it's totally allowed in certain areas. Also, the online VR space is one of those gray areas for legal precedent anyway.
Nuki says, both a more general take of that concept, but also a follow-up to one earlier. What do we do if we believe someone is making false reports against us or someone we know? Well, of course, if you have reasons to believe those things, by all means tell us. If it's just kind of a suspicion, you can provide that knowledge to us and let us be aware you're suspicious of it. But we're pretty limited if it's just at the suspicion level. If you can send screenshots about conversations, audio logs of conversations, video of conversations, if allowed inside of your state or country. Those things are all going to be very, very useful to us. Again, we treat false reports quite seriously, but like everything submitted to us, we do need some evidence in order to be able to act on it. It can't just be a suspicion alone.
Yeah. Triple Helix brings up a point here. In that case, everyone recording for YouTube or Twitch in a public lobby for any game is breaking the law. Once again, recording in the online space is one of those legal gray areas because there's barely any legal precedent. So until there's precedent, you really don't know that something is necessarily strictly illegal unless a specific law for it has passed.
To be clear, we ask you to obey all local, national, and international laws in order to play our game. We're giving you a caveated answer here because that's present and it's important. You do need to follow your local laws. Outside of any local laws that cause you an issue, though, moderation isn't going to go after you. We often ask for video evidence. It's just make sure it's compliant locally. Understand where you are, and we have to understand that we are dealing with a user base in many different countries, so we can't give one simple answer to all of it. Got a couple of comments here. H says, man, if someone places ban on dash cams, I would not want to drive there. That is understandable.
Yeah, really.
Looks like it is blues music at the Monday Blues. That is good to hear. Brand UK says, currently making plugins and screaming at strings being one of the 3 types in Fruit's engine that are objects and values in different parts of Resonite. Pain. I do not understand most of this comment, but I wish you luck in the plugin work you're doing. If you're looking for assistance, you might be able to find some at the Resonance. I am not certain. Fruits does know, as one might guess, the Fruits engine pretty thoroughly in and out. He's I think the single most knowledgeable person in existence for very obvious reasons concerning the Fruits engine. Oh, Nuki does make a comment here to someone else, but good to highlight more broadly. Nuki says, remember, Resonite streaming tools give you a badge above your head that says live, and it's not hard to just say, I'm recording right now. Most people are happy to be in your video about Resonite, and saliently, it gives people an opportunity to say, hey, please don't record me, I'm not super comfortable with that. We try, generally speaking, with all things Resonite, to give people as much information as they can to kind of curate their experience inside of the platform. Ikoi-kun says, Resonite. Also, bird. Quite.
Bird.
Quite.
Nuki clarifies, Monday Blues isn't necessarily about blues music, only that they can play blues music there.
Monday Blues not being about blues music means I rescind my previous praise for it and would like to retract the recommendation. I'm grumpy. Look, I'm one of the blue people in this game. We need more blues in this game.
I would say you're kind of blurple, aren't you?
You people are all wrong. Your eyeballs are wrong. There is nothing but blue and 0 values in the lights coming out of this avatar. I've been told a number of times I might be purple or lavender, which is strange, but it shows up. I am pure blue.
Yeah, I can see lavender.
Blue and white.
Really?
Yes.
That's so weird. Yeah, I've always looked into your avatar and thought purple.
It's your eyeballs, not the avatar. Brooks gives an answer to the previous question Grand UK was tackling, and I'm not going to pretend I understand it. So I'm just going to roll forward and see the justly declarable highlights a critical part. Needs more skeletons. That is true. We need more skeletons in Resonite.
Also, that is about as blue as I can ever imagine seeing.
Very blue name. Just in time for Monday coming around. Can we even show that?
Yeah, technically. I can grab it.
I don't know if it's going to be as eye-bleedy blue on,
This hurts my eyes. Not the statement, but the blue color is very blue.
Very blue.
Man, I am really behind on the actual stream. I haven't even grabbed it and moved it yet.
Cobalt Scythe says that's purple, kid. Sir, if you put 1 in every color value, you get white. If you then put 2 in blue, you get me.
Oh.
Actually, I think it might be 311, but still, it's only enhanced blue. It's blue.
Blue.
Blue indeed. He says, I think it could be called Monday Meet and Greet, but it's not my event. Needs more blues. Needs more blues. Okay, so we are 45 minutes in, and the questions have slowly wound down to talking about the color blue. We're probably going to be wrapping up sometime soon. Wow, Veer calling out a user?
Wait, for what? What did I do? Hold on. What do you mean on being blue? Oh, no, it's just the name tag. I don't know if I'm... Wait, am I called... Oh, man, I've called out Justly. I'm so sorry, Justly. I didn't mean to call you out like that.
I'm not sorry. I think you should have called out Justly more. He's very blue in our chat.
Justly's very blue in our chat. I'm calling him out again. What have I missed?
That name is also painful to look at. It is also quite blue. Akasha, my BE. Asking what they missed. A fun and exciting moderation office hours. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We had a number of questions. Unfortunately, moderation's office hours questions are not guided, really. We tell people to make them about moderation, but they tend to be all over the place. We fielded a question inside of the Discord archive thread that I'm going to give a shout out again to before we wrap up today to occasionally collect more questions there in the future. It's very helpful for us. If you're not in the Resonite Discord, get in the Resonite Discord. It's a great place filled with wonderful information, but in there, in the voice channels category, you can find moderation office, or rather you can find office hours questions. That's just a forum for all of the office hours hosted by the team, and in there you'll find moderation office hours questions pinned at the top. Drop a question in there, and we'll try and answer it on the next office hours that comes around. Good way to store questions if you're worried you're going to forget about them, or you might not be able to attend the next office hours. There's a lot of people coming in here saying that I have purple eyes. Your math does not concern me, Space Skeleton Man. My eyes have determined you are purple. Your eyeballs are lying to you. Purple doesn't exist. Freak says that's purple, which I would respond with, purple doesn't exist. Your eyeballs made it up. They're wrong. Justly asks, what is moderation stance on the color blue? Well, that it's a real color, unlike this purple thing humans came up with one day and then started inaccurately labeling their environment with.
We might also be a little bit biased because it's the color of our indicator badge. Yeah, badge. That's the word I'm looking for.
Understandable.
It's very blue.
Book asks, yeah, well, I had one. I assume a question. But then MetaQuest driver said no microphone for you, and now Steam Link crashed, haha, sweat. So yeah, good day indeed. That is a sentence. That is an entire sentence I read live on Twitch. I'm gonna keep scrolling down. Welcome. I hope things are working out better now. Fruit says it doesn't exist as a pure spectrum frequency, purple, but it exists as a neurobiological response, i.e. an incorrect thing made up by funny, squishy human people. Not true, not real. Purple is a scam.
Hard to imagine purple is a thing that like an organ in our bodies created. It's kind of wild.
Scythe asks, I noticed a clause in the terms of service on obscene content. Would horror maps fall into this category? Almost certainly not. We also have, in the guidelines, more broadly, another thing on obscene content. There are guidelines. We want you to be compliant in there, but the use of horror maps are unlikely to trigger many of these, assuming they're kept within reason.
Nuki, what are you telling people? Sorry, that was in response to, okay, he has been told, he's cynic, I guess, that he will likely be raided, and that he doesn't even need to put on pants for it. Incorrect.
Are we talking about them in real life? Like, if someone's Donald Ducking, I might excuse them, specifically if they're literally Donald Duck, but if there's just a guy wearing tidy whities, we're probably not going to raid that guy.
Probably not. Nuki says he's not wearing pants. Great. Okay.
Brand UK says maybe we should try streaming Resonite plugin and making. That would actually be very cool. We do have a lot of very nifty things we build in this community, and trying to drag people into sort of a tech stream could be super fun. I also think it'd probably get a lot of cool questions that could then lead into the resonance immediately following. So yeah, I think things could be neat. Things could be quite neat. Fruit says all colors are just neurobiological responses. No, all colors have neurobiological responses. Some colors are also, in addendum, real colors. Purple is not one of them.
Wow, there's a lot of blue salt out there.
Blitch first says purple is a concept made up by Big Purple to sell more purple. I think so, Blitch. That does seem likely.
Nuki says there's nothing about wearing there's nothing about wearing pants in the Resonite rules. Yeah, that's not what we're worried about. We're worried about Twitch.
Yes. One of our requirements for us to raid you in a semi-serious context is that your stream must be family friendly. Also, please, for the love of God, be compliant with Twitch's guidelines, or we're not going to raid you either. But you know, we will see what is out there when the raid time comes, and it is quickly approaching. Decoy says
pants are a construct. And with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start the rating process.
Voltage just arrived. Hi, Voltage. Hey, yo to you two. You shouldn't come here. This is a cursed place. There is a resonance happening in 38 minutes, though, so I strongly encourage you to either stick around for the person we're raiding or come back in 40 minutes, in either case, where you will have a yellow dog man here to field any questions you might have about Resonite as a whole, where it is right now, where its future is going, just tech questions and broadly. He covers a lot of fantastic topics there. I'm also going to give a shout out while we have 5 seconds here to the YouTube channel, where you can find snippets pulled from previous big, important, cool questions asked on the Resonance, and of course all of the VODs from this moderation office hours. It's a good resource. Put eyeballs on there, people.
Definitely. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and start the raid here. We're going to be raiding in about like 10 to 15 seconds. We're going to be raiding Cynic1254. Looks like they're messing with someone named Jason, and they're parsing Jason. I don't know who that is, but I don't know. That could be fun.
Have they put on 7 pairs of pants?
I'm not seeing any pants. Oh well, hey, you guys have fun.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Wait, let's see. Yeah, I didn't click the raid button yet. 7, 6, 5, 4. Bye, guys.
Good one, folks. Till next time.
Have a good week.
It's just an Avali avatar. Why is that the way they described it?